Do you know what utterly enrages me about the personal finance industry? Well, frankly, there are a few things. But the one that most recently erupted within me once again are all of these debt relief scams. Like, how messed up of a human being do you have to be to say, I know what I can do with my life. I can set up a company that preys on desperate, hardworking people who simply want to dig their way out of debt and find some sort of financial security and abundance. I mean, seriously, that's what you decide to do with your life? And as a money coach, it's not uncommon for me to have sessions with people who have fallen victim to these particular types of scams. After all, debt relief scams sound like a magical solution to your money worries, and who doesn't want someone to give them a shortcut to financial freedom? I mean, I totally get it. And that's why I don't judge the victims, especially since there are legitimate debt relief companies and coaches that do exist. Which is why today I want to help you figure out how to separate the legit companies from the scammy ones. So keep watching, because I'm about to share 10 red flags to help you spot a debt relief scam so you don't become one of the victims. Hey dreamers, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Tiana Clewis, executive pastor, money coach, co-founder of a multi-million-dollar company with my husband, and now I realize I don't have my ring on. And I've made it my mission to help Christian women trapped in the 9-to-5 overcome the financial worries that have them saying, hold up, wait a minute, not today, on doing what it is that God's called them to do full time. Look, I totally understand what it's like when, that change a little strange, that money is a little funny and all whatever little goofy colloquialisms are out there to basically say your money is not looking the way that you want it to look so that you can be full time in your business, full time in your ministry, full time in your nonprofit. Been there, done that, and I'm going to help you get out of it just as I am. Just as I have. So if that's what you're looking for, if you want someone who's going to give you money tips and biblical strategies that are going to help you make that transition, this is where you want to be. Come hang out with your girl where I drop videos every other week. So now that you know what's going on, let's go ahead and just jump into the video. Red flag number 1 is that the company guarantees that your debts will be lowered or erased. It sounds too good to be true because, well, it is. If your debt is a legitimate debt that you actually signed up for, your creditors are not legally required to agree to lower those payments, to waive those payments, or anything really to modify it at all, unless they've made some sort of mistake that then requires them to do so. But if everything is legit, there aren't any errors on your account. If they don't want to lower your payments, they don't have to. If they don't want to waive some of your payments, they don't have to. If they don't want to sit here and update your credit score to show that you are current, they don't have to. The thing is that most companies recognize that it actually is to their benefit to negotiate with you for either a lower fee or maybe a couple of waived payments or some sort of modification, because that means at least they'll get some of the money instead of none of the money. So it's to their benefit to negotiate, but they're not required to. So if the debt relief company is guaranteeing that your debts are going to be lowered or erased, that's a red flag. Red flag number 2 is that they put a set timeline on that debt relief. So if they say that, all of your debts are going to be lowered within 6 months, or you're going to be out of debt in 12 months or something like that, they put a set timeline on it. Again, just like with red flag number 1, this is an issue because these companies are not legally required to negotiate with you. And different companies have different policies and things and steps that they go through in order to do these negotiations. So essentially, negotiation takes as long as it takes. So the debt relief company, that's the word I was looking for, can't actually promise that you're going to have all of your debts waived or all of your debts reduced or everything modified in a specific timeline, because the reality is they don't know. But if they're talking to you like, it's absolutely going to be this timeline, maybe that's a red flag. Red flag number 3, and probably one of the ones that I hate the most, this isn't the number 1 thing that I hate, but it is one that I hate a lot, is that they guarantee that they can get legitimate debts permanently removed from your credit report. Hunty, that is a lie. Seriously, that is a lie. They can't guarantee that they can get your debts permanently removed from your credit report if that debt is legitimate. If you signed on the dotted line and said, yes, I will pay this money back, it's a legitimate debt, so you owe it. Period. And so the only thing that legally has to be removed from your credit report is something that is fraudulent or something that's an error. That's it. So if there aren't any errors and it's not fraudulent, They can't guarantee that it will be permanently removed from your credit report. Now, there can be some things that get removed because maybe the company that's reporting it can't validate the debt. And a lot of places say it has to be a liquid signature before they can validate, which that don't always work. Electronic signatures do legally count as a signature, so a wet signature does not guarantee that it doesn't qualify as a validated debt. So a lot of times what'll happen is people will sign up for this program, they'll see everything get removed because that the company has disputed everything, and then over time those things start getting added back. But depending on what that company's doing, maybe you have a 3-month contract, a 6-month contract. Well, with all of their negotiating and finagling, they might be able to keep it off long enough for your relationship with the debt relief company to end. And then all of a sudden, those things start popping back up on your credit report because they were legitimate debts where you actually owed the money and there wasn't an error. It was just the disputing process that company was going through that made it look like they were successful and they weren't. Oh my gosh, this one gets a lot of people and it creates a lot of issues. So this is one of the top red flags that I absolutely hate. Red flag number 4 is that you can't get details on the services that the company provides without first giving them some of your personal financial information first. Now, I know a lot of people catch this red flag, but in my due diligence, I just had to put it on there. Most people recognize that if I have to give you my social security number, details on my debts, I have to give you bank account numbers before you will actually provide me information on your services. Most people will catch it that's a red flag, but again, let me do my due diligence with this video. So here's the thing. The way that these debts can be disputed, the way that these debts can be negotiated and modified, they pretty much don't change whether they have your social security number or not. All that changes is what debts they're negotiating and which companies are negotiating them with. But having your personal financial information doesn't really change what type of services they're providing. So if they're not willing to give you that information until you actually give them your personal financial information, that means they are probably not a legitimate company and they're probably about to scam the dickens out of you or, frankly, steal your identity and sell it on the dark web. I'm just saying. Red flag number 5 is that they claim to be using a new government program, but they won't provide details on the program that they're using. This one's always funny to me, but here's the thing. This is a red flag because if it's a new government program, the data on that new government program is publicly available. And so you literally should be able to just Google the plan and see how it works. What are they doing? Most of these government programs are designed for you to be able to do them yourself. And so it could be one or two things. Either they're scared that you're going to see how easy it is to do these negotiations with whatever new government program they're talking about is out there, or more than likely, there isn't actually a new government program that they're using. That's the most likely scenario. But ultimately, if there's some sort of new government program, ask for details on that thing. You should be able to look it up. You should be able to find the information because that information is publicly available. So yeah, it's either they're scared you're going to do it yourself, the program probably doesn't exist, or it's an old program that they're just trying to repackage and make it sound like it's new. But yeah, if they can't provide you details on that program, total red flag because it's publicly available information. Now, before we move on to red flag number 6, I want to let you know that this video is sponsored by Ambitious Dreamers, the Pouring Conference. As a money coach who caters to Christian women entrepreneurs, do you know what I see my clients struggle with on a very regular basis? Figuring out how to grow a business that's not only profitable, but also functions in alignment with God's will for their life. After all, with so many Christians falsely believing that being wealthy or financially successful means you must be ripping people off, it's tough to push yourself towards growth without feeling like you're actually doing something wrong. But remember, I'm an executive pastor. I've researched and studied this thing. And the truth is that if you are truly passionate about the business that you're creating, I can confidently say that your business is actually part of your God-given purpose. In fact, that business is how God wants to use you to help grow the kingdom right here on earth. Don't believe me? Go back and read the definition of the Proverbs 31 woman and notice that she sashes and supplies things to merchants. Yeah, the Proverbs 31 woman is an entrepreneur. So here's the thing. If God wants you to bless the kingdom with your business, it means he also wants to lead and guide you on that business journey, which is why I founded The Pouring. So if you are ready to allow God to pour into you his vision, his strategies, and his wisdom for your business, nonprofit, or ministry, join me and my amazing lineup of speakers at Ambitious Dreamers The Pouring Conference on October 7th. To sign up, just head to the website at www.thepouring.life. Tickets for The Pouring start at $40 for general passes, and our all-new VIP passes start at $60 during early bird registration. There are only 30 VIP passes available, so do not miss out on these extra perks. And if you can't make it to Texas to join us in person, don't worry, virtual passes are available as well. So head to www.thepouring.life right now to grab the pass that's right for you. Yeah, that's it. That's all I need to share. So now that we're done talking about The Pouring, let's go ahead and hop over to, what am I hopping to? Hopping to red flag number 6. Red flag number 6 is that there is limited information about the company that can be found online. Now, look, a company that has legitimate connections should have some sort of digital footprint somewhere. I understand that there are going to be some newer companies out there that don't have much of a financial presence because maybe they just now put up their website and they haven't taken on a lot of clients. But with the number of scams that exist out there, I don't want you to get played. And a lot of companies that are not legitimate, that are straight up scams, they just don't have much of a digital footprint. So if you have trouble finding them when you do your research and you're not finding a bunch of positive reviews, now remember, people are more likely to leave a negative review than a positive review. But if they have like all negative reviews or not much of a digital footprint, I'm gonna say you probably shouldn't mess with them. Red flag number 7 is another one that gets me. The red flag is all of the fees that you pay to the company, they have to be paid up front. There are no monthly payments. There's no payments based on progress, payment based on activity. They're not paid hourly. They're not paid, a monthly subscription, anything like that. It's gonna cost us $3,500. Give me my $3,500 cash and then we'll start making magic happen. No, baby, nope. That is a red flag. I have yet to come across a legitimate company that does not charge either like a monthly fee or some sort of fee based on like their activity, what they've accomplished in that time period in that month. Like every legitimate company that I've ever come across or coach that I've ever talked to, they all do it on like a monthly basis or based on like the progress that they've made. So if they require that you pay everything up front, there is a very good chance that it is a quick cash grab. And especially when you add the fact that they will get your money and your personal financial information from day one, they have no incentive to actually do anything for you because they've got everything they need. They got the cash and they got your financial info that they can now sell on the dark web. So if all fees are required up front, that's a red flag. Now, red flag number 8 is the one that ultimately pisses me off the most. Like, you want to talk about angry mama bear rises up in my spirit and I'm ready to breathe the fires of Jesus like down on the people. This is red flag number 8. They tell you to stop paying your debts. Oh my gosh, I hate this one. I don't hate people. The Bible says not to hate people, but oh, do I hate this piece of advice and this requirement. If the company tells you to stop paying your debts entirely, like no coins, or they tell you to pay them and then they will pay the debts for you, absolutely not. That is a scam. I'm sorry. That is a scam. Absolutely not. They're going to destroy your credit. And not only are they going to destroy your credit, but there's a very good chance that they are going to get you sued by somebody. Because if you are legally obligated to pay that debt, it's a legit debt. There's no error. It can be validated. It is legitimate. You agree to pay it back, then you have a legal obligation to pay it back, and you have no legal right to just stop making payments. That's called breach of contract. Breach of contract can get you sued. And there are some companies who say, oh, the debt's so small, I'm not even gonna take the time and the energy to like go after this debt. But you don't know which company's gonna do that. Some companies, they lawyers just be operating in bulk, baby. They got the resources that they can come for that tail, all right? And you don't know which company that's going to be. This is a great way to get you sued. Oh my gosh, it makes me so mad. And so do not believe them if they say you don't have to pay your debts anymore. It is a lie from the pits of hell. They are trying to get your coins and make you feel better, but they're not actually going to help you. They are going to make things worse. And should I also add that if you get sued and the debtor that you are sued by wins, do you know that now they can legally garnish your wages from your paycheck? So then you lose all control over negotiations and how much you pay them back. Like this one makes me mad. Red flag number 9. They tell you not to communicate with your creditors. Like, don't talk to them. Don't pick up, don't call them, and don't answer if they call you. And if you answer the phone and they say, hi, we're with such and such, and they tell you to hang up, something's up. Here's my thing. If this company is legitimately helping you negotiate your debt with your creditor, there should be some information on file with your creditor about these negotiations. Now, I'm not saying that you need to be calling your creditors and trying to like interfere with the negotiations or anything like that. But the fact that they're saying you're not allowed to communicate with your creditors at all, like you're not able to, get a status on things. You're not allowed to ask the creditor to send you the latest updates in writing or anything like that. If they're saying you're not allowed to do that at all, that is a red flag. I'm sorry, I'm an auditor. My background is in fraud and auditing. And one thing we learned quickly was I can trust you, but I'm gonna verify what you said. So if they say you cannot communicate with your creditors at all, that is a red flag. And red flag number 10, the last one, the fine print on the contract doesn't match the promises on the call. One of the things that these scammers know about most people is that most folks aren't going to read their contract. Most people are not going to sit here and read a 10-page contract full of a bunch of legalese. Now, for me, I really wish that you would read your contracts, okay? Like in the business I run with my husband, it is actually to our benefit for you to read the contract because then everybody's on the same page and nobody has missed expectations and things like that, right? Like I can tell you on the phone, but like, please read your contract. Please read it. But seriously, we know from experience that most people are not going to take the time to actually read their entire contract. And so since most people just know this off the bat, if they've been in business for more than like 15 seconds, because they know this, people will build entire businesses with scams where they will slide provisions and things into the contracts without you even knowing. And so if you're not dealing with a reputable company like the one that I run with my husband, where your contract actually matches what the heck we said on the phone, you're stuck like Chuck because you signed that daggone thing without reading it. And whatever those terms say is what you have to abide by. So if they sat here and told you that, we are going to, there's going to be 100% money back guarantee and we will take responsibility if you get sued. Well, if that's not in the contract, they don't have to take responsibility if you get sued by a creditor. So you have to read the fine print on the contract that you get from the debt relief or the credit agency, whatever. Read the daggone contract and make sure that what it says in the contract aligns with what they promised you on the phone. If it doesn't, they was trying to pull an okie doke on you, sis. And now it's time for you to be like, bye-bye. We ain't gonna be able to work together. And there you have it. 10 red flags that will help you spot a debt relief scam from a mile away. Now, I do want to note that I don't have a debt relief company that I personally trust or recommend to my clients. So yes, I've interacted with some before, but there aren't any that I personally would recommend. So if you drop one, ask me in the comments. The answer is, I ain't got one for you. I'm sorry, I can't help you. But what I can answer for you in the comments is how to help you fix some of the damage that's been done if you've already used one of these companies, or other questions that you may think of that I happen to have an answer for about money, finance, debt, whatever, so go ahead, drop them in the comments. I do everything that I can to respond to all of them. So I definitely want to be there to help you out. Don't forget, if you haven't already, go to www.thepouring.life to claim your pass for my annual women's conference by a Christian woman entrepreneur for women entrepreneurs. You definitely do not want to miss out. Make sure you are in the room for the Ambitious Dreamers The Pouring Conference. It's going to be going down on October 7th of 2023 right here in Dallas, Texas. But remember, we got virtual passes if you need them, sis. Oh, and VIP passes. There's only 30. Get yours right now. Also, don't forget to let me know that you found this video useful by hitting that good old thumbs up button and subscribing to my channel by clicking the big red button below. Be sure to hit the bell so that you're notified when I drop brand new money tips and biblical strategies to help you bust through your financial barriers so you can step boldly into your God-given calling full time, just like I have. I'm gonna get back to work so I can go hang out with my mama later, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye-bye.